The sun is out and it's a gorgeous day here in the Pacific Northwest, Zone 8B. I thought I'd do a quick garden walkthrough, just an update on how things are growing and what I'm finding in the garden. So far, everything's growing really well. I did just find squash bug eggs on these summer squash, so I removed those leaves that had the squash bug eggs on them, and I'll continue to be diligent about checking the leaves for those. They devastated my harvest last year. I got about half of the winter squash harvest that I usually get, and it was because the squash bugs just went through and plowed through and destroyed the harvest. So I'm going to be extra diligent about that this year. As you can tell, the cantaloupe is doing really well. It's growing like a weed. It's enjoying the warmer temps and starting to set fruit. I've noticed I've got a couple little baby cantaloupe forming down there, so that's exciting. Let's keep walking. Got carrots, some lettuce that's been slow to bolt, which surprises me. I expected it to have bolted by now. That was a flashy trout back lettuce that is apparently slower to bolt than other kinds. Then I've got eggplant at the end of this garden. It's doing okay. It's not really knocking it out of the park yet, but give it time, it'll enjoy the heat. Black-eyed peas coming up finally, also enjoying the heat. And some green beans. I think these are Provider variety, with some okra plants in the front that are just starting to really put on some leaf growth. Those will get pretty tall and start sending out flowers pretty soon, I hope. These are the red Norland potatoes. I cut the water to them just a couple of days ago, so they'll be ready to harvest within about 10 days. And here we have kidney beans, which I've never grown before, so I didn't really know what to expect. Didn't know when to harvest. If these were green beans, I'd be harvesting at about this stage, but kidney beans take a little bit longer. So I've got more actual bean definition, but I need to wait for the actual kidney beans themselves to grow, so I can harvest the beans. Over here I've got peppers. Peppers are doing okay. This bed has struggled a little bit, and I've wondered if it's because I've got that sunflower right there that may be giving off some stop growing hormones that I've heard sunflowers can do. We'll see. These were the box potatoes that are still doing well. I picked the blooms about a week ago, and they're still growing and hopefully getting ready to harvest in the next few weeks. These are King of the North bell peppers, and they're doing fantastic. They've put on a lot of growth just in the last few days, and I've got a lot of blossoms and some fruit setting. Not sure if you can see that, but there is some fruit set down there, and hopefully that will continue to grow in the heat. I've also got some early jalapenos, and they're doing okay. Again, they're not stunning yet, but I am getting some actual jalapenos, so that's exciting. These are more, I think these are paprika peppers, and they've put on good growth. I've got quite a few paprika peppers, and those I'll harvest when they turn red. I'm not sure if you can see them with the shadow. In front of them I have a bell pepper called Golden Star. No fruit set yet, but I am getting blooms. These are more King of the North bell peppers. They were kind of left over, didn't know where to put them. But this one is actually setting fruit pretty well. And then I've got black crim tomatoes, and they're coming on. Kind of expected them to be a little farther along than they are, but they're doing okay. So can't fuss too much about that. I need to do some trimming and trellising. Over here I've got San Marzano tomatoes, and those set fruit early on, and they are continuing to grow and set fruit. So I'm very happy with that variety. Got more green beans here. These are Romano beans. They're a flat green bean, great for canning. These are russet Burbank potatoes that I planted about a month ago in these 15-gallon buckets. And the sweet potato bed is starting to fill in. It's doing okay. It'll love the heat. And in front of that, I have some blue Hubbard squash that I heard was a great trap crop for squash bugs, but it didn't catch the ones that have landed on my other squash, so I don't know what's going on with that. This is a new asparagus bed starting to fill in. I've got some more green beans, more peppers. These were all planted late, but they're coming along. These are my sun gold tomatoes, and they are taking over. I think they're gonna rule the world pretty soon. But I am getting some sun gold tomatoes. If you've never had sun gold tomatoes, wow, great flavor. Super sweet. They do really well here in the Pacific Northwest. They grow like weeds. These are Amish paste tomatoes, my drama queens. They always look droopy and sad. They usually produce pretty well, but this year they're kind of slow to put on fruit. So I'm hoping they pick up in the next couple of weeks. They're planted with more peppers that are, again, slow growing. Some basil, which I've picked quite a bit of basil off, so we're enjoying that. Got some onions here. Some silver slicer cucumbers, and that one is ready to pick, so I'll be picking that today, and we'll enjoy that with dinner. Over here I've got a strawberry bed. These are all ever-bearing varieties, and you can tell they're putting on some fruit. I've got them covered with this bug netting just to keep the birds off them. More tomatoes. These are mortgage lifter tomatoes, which is a really good slicing tomato. And I think a San Marzano got mixed up in there when I planted them, because that's definitely not a mortgage lifter. It's more like a paste tomato. And there's some green beans and some peppers, kind of random planting in there. If I go down here, I get to the delicata squash, which the squash is setting fruit. I've got some down low that are continuing to ripen. I've not picked any of those yet, and I haven't checked these for squash bugs, which I'll do after I do this video. More tomatoes, San Marzanos, I believe. Yes, paste tomatoes, and some more silver slicer cucumbers getting ready to come on. If I walk over here, you can see my self-seeding cosmos plants in my walkway. The onion bed, wow, these onions have done amazing. These were all planted from seed. They're Patterson onions and ruby red onions. They have just outperformed anything I've ever done before. Last year I planted my onions kind of a little bit here and a little bit there in my other beds, and they didn't do as well. So this year I went back to putting them all in one bed, and they're doing great. Got a spare black crim tomato here that's doing okay. So that's kind of what's happening in the garden. It's doing pretty well. I'm anxious to harvest these potatoes. This is an asparagus bed that's established. We picked a lot of asparagus out of this. These were just random ones that I let go to seed and let root development happen. But if I zoom in here, see that little red bug right there? Not a ladybug. That is an asparagus beetle. And I've had those every year that I've had asparagus. So I'll be picking those off and sending them to meet their maker. They don't seem to hurt the crop too much, but I don't want to let them take over. Other than that, squash bugs, asparagus beetles. I have seen some cucumber beetles, so I'm trying to be on the watch for those. They don't survive long in my garden. If I can find them, they also meet an early demise. Really excited about the cantaloupe this year. This is honey rock variety, heavily planted in the bed. They don't produce a lot, but they produce consistently. They give me small, really sweet cantaloupe, just enough for a lunch or a snack. So I'm excited about those. So that's the garden, mid-July. Hope you're having a great day where you are. Happy gardening. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content. Helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate it. Take care, y'all.